Today we'll be sharing with you a new script called Rydygier Patrol. This script will allow you to spawn planes, helicopters, vehicles, tanks, and infantry from any faction, any genre, and from the vanilla game or from any mod. Now here we are on the official release thread for the Rydygier Patrol script. You can find this on Bohemia Interactive Forums, and it's located in the Arma 3 Mission and Editing Scripting section of the forum. This script was developed by Rydygier and myself. This project started back in early 2022. Rydygier wrote the script and I did a lot of testing, and we did put the ideas together and basically came up with the script. So this script was used in my Aces of the Sky mission, and there's a lot of features in this mission. You guys can check that out if you want. The script was also used in my scenario here, which was actually the first scenario to use the script. You guys can check that out as well. You could spawn any plane, helicopter, vehicle, tank, infantry, and they will basically patrol a marker that you set up in the editor, any size, and you usually call it from an area trigger or a radio trigger. Now here is all the information about the script, the features. I have a demo mission that you can download and take a look, or if you just want the script itself, you can just download it from here. Here's how you install it, and here is the script usage. I'm basically going to go over the script and show you how to install it and set it up and use it. So let's get into game. We are in the game. I'm going to go to the map and scroll out, and we're going to go to Arma Desert. Here is we're just going to place a player, underarm rifleman. Next we're going to place 3 triggers without a size. I'm going to place them right next to the player. We'll get to them in a minute. Then we're going to place 3 markers. So go to F6 and then markers. We're going to use area markers. So we'll use an eclipse for them. We're going to start with this first marker. So we're going to place this marker. We're going to edit it. And we're going to name this marker Area 1. Alright, so that's our first marker. Then we're going to expand it. So we're going to go to the area widget at the top left and just kind of expand it. Right, so that's area 1 marker. Then we're going to place another marker, and we're just going to place it right about here. We're going to edit this, and we're going to give it a name of area 2. We'll just hit OK. We're not going to resize this one. We're just going to leave it as it is. And then we're going to place one more marker. Just place it right in front of the player. Edit this one. We're going to name this area 3. And just hit OK. Then we're going to resize this and make it real small. So now we have our 3 markers. Now let's go to our triggers. And the first trigger we're going to edit under activation. We're going to set this to radio alpha. We're going to set it to repeatable. And then in the text box at the top, we're going to put spawn plane. Now we're going to put a code in the on activation box, but we're not going to do that at the moment. We're just going to set up the other triggers. So we're going to just hit OK with this, and then we're going to edit the next one, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go down to radio Bravo for this one, set it to repeatable, and under text for this one, we're going to put spawn vehicles. Alright, that's all we're going to do with it right now. Then we're going to do the third one, and we're going to go to activation. We're going to set this to radio Charlie, set it to repeatable, and under the text we're going to put spawn infantry, and just hit OK, and that sets up our scenario. We're going to save our scenario, and this is going to be on Altus. We're going to name this RYD_PT_demo. Alright, so now that we have that saved, we're going to go to the scenario tab at the top left, and then down to where it says open scenario folder. We are in our mission folder. From the demo mission itself, I'm going to take these 2 scripts, copy them, and then we're going to paste them into the mission folder. Alright, on the release thread, as shown, there is a link to download the script. When you get the script, take the two files, the init.sqf and the folder rydpt, and put them into your scenario folder just like I did here. Now on the init.sqf, if you already have an init.sqf in your scenario folder, all you need to do is you need this line in your init.sqf. If you don't have one, then just use this one. Now if your scenario is for multiplayer or co-op, I recommend that you create an init server.sqf and put the code in there. And basically what that code does, it calls the script. Alright, let's take a look at the script itself. So the script is inside the folder rydpt. And here's the script. Let's open it. You can open it with Notepad or Notepad++. The RYD part of the script stands for Rydygier, and PT stands for Patrol. There are some comments set up in the script that I added, and these comments, like this one for example, says spawn armored or vehicles that will patrol. Basically the code below that is all the code that will spawn vehicles in armor, etc. So let's scroll down a little bit. Here is a section which I have a comment for right here. This code puts a green dot on the map for the location of a vehicle disabled by default. So if you wanted to use this disabled by default, all you need to do is to remove this and remove that, and then the script will run this code for all vehicles. So it'll put a green dot on every vehicle in the marker. I'm not going to use it today. So if we scroll down a little bit, here is 3 lines of code. This is the vehicle's behavior, this is the vehicle's combat mode, and this is the vehicle's speed. If you want vehicles to patrol and attack other enemies, attack you or whomever in your mission, then you're going to want to set these to something else. So to go over that real quick, in the script you have the combat mode, as you can see here, which is set to yellow. Then you have the behavior, which is aware. Then you have the speed, which is normal. So now with the speed, if we go to this page, you can see the speed for the code is set to normal in capital letters. So this is what it is here, normal. This is the default movement speed. Soldiers will jog, vehicles will move at a moderate speed, etc. So if you wanted to change the speed, you want them to be limited, you change this in capital letters to the word limited, and that's all you do there. Now for combat mode, go to combat modes, and you scroll down, and you can see these are set into different colors. So right now the combat mode in the script is set to yellow, and yellow is fire at will, disengage, default mode, open fire, they'll keep formation, etc. So if you wanted to change that, have them fire at will and engage at will, then change it to red. Is you would just type in red, just like that. And then for the behavior, we go to the behavior, and here we have different behaviors you could use. So right here it's set to aware, and you could set it to combat, you could set it to stealth. If you wanted to change that, then all you need to do is, in capital letters, is to type that word. So again, I'm going to link these in the description of the video, these 3 wiki pages. I'll also have them linked in the release thread. That's for 3 sections. So this is for, right now, this is for vehicles and tanks and so forth. So we scroll down in the section where the planes and helicopters are patrolling, so you can see the line here. So if you scroll down, we have the markers that can be created. Now if you scroll down again, you're going to see the behavior, the combat mode, and the speed mode. Just as I explained above for the vehicles, you just change those to what you want, and they'll do exactly what you need them to do. We scroll further, now we have spawn infantry that will patrol. So here's the code for them. And we scroll down, and same thing, here's the markers that will show up on the map. If we scroll down, and here is the behavior, the combat mode, and the speed at which the infantries will be set. And you can see my comments right here. Now at the bottom of the script is the most important part that you need to understand in terms of using the script. So here I have a bunch of notes. So here's the infantry code. So I have here the following config example is what you will use to spawn a group of infantry through a trigger. You'll need to use the config viewer in game to acquire a group code. Looking at this code right here, I got this from the config viewer, and I just grabbed a default or vanilla squad from the west, from Blue 4 infantry squad. Once you get your config viewer squad, then what you do is you tack this code right here at the end of it. So here, let's do that right now. Back in the editor. So what you're going to do is the config viewer is going to be under tools. So you're going to go to tools, click on that, and then you're going to go to where it says config viewer. So you just click on that, the config viewer will open up, and what you're going to look for is CFG groups. This is CFG groups. Alright, so you could do this for any faction. So here you have East, it'll say OP4 in the main box. This is empty, don't worry about that. Here is Independent or Guerrilla, and here is West, which is Blue 4. So we're going to click on Blue 4, and then you're going to get some groups. If you click on one of these groups, it'll tell you what these groups are. They're basically categories. So this is CTRG, you've got NATO, you've got NATO Pacific, you've got NATO Woodland, Gadamiri, and FIA or Guerrilla. So we're just going to go to NATO, we'll double click that, and then if you want to put armored or infantry, an infantry squad, so we'll double click on infantry, and here's the squads, and then we're just going to go down to a recon patrol, and it'll tell you. So you click on patrol, it'll say recon patrol here. You're going to go to this line and copy this line, press Control C. We're going to close the config viewer. We're going to go to the trigger right here on the left, and we're going to double click it, and in the on activation box, press Control V. Now the code isn't done yet. We have to add to it. Back in the script, and here we are looking at the infantry code. So now we put a new code. You're going to go to this line here, and you're going to copy this. Press Control C. Once we paste this at the end of the line, the code is going to look like this after you paste what we just copied here at the end of the config viewer code. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put two brackets at the beginning. So let's go back in game and finish the trigger. In our trigger, you can see what we pasted before. So now what you're going to do is you're going to put your cursor right after this, and where it's blinking, press Control V, and that's going to paste the code that we copied from the script. Now before we finish that, let's go to the beginning. Going to need to put two left square brackets, and that's it. Now if you want to spiff this up, if for demonstration purposes, if you want to know that something was spawned, here's what we do. You just put a hint. Now like I do in my other videos for code like this, if you add a hint, it'll give you feedback when you execute the trigger. So you just type in hint, and then space, and then quote, and then type in infantry squad has spawned. Put an exclamation point if you want, end quote, and then a semicolon, and that will give you some feedback that they spawned. Alright, so just hit OK. Let's save that, test out the infantry. So let's play the scenario. Okay, so now to access the radio, you're just going to hit 0 on your keyboard, and you're going to go down to where it says radio, and then where it says infantry, you just click on that, and here's our hint. Like I was just telling you, infantry squad has spawned, and here is the infantry squad that spawned. It was a recon patrol. So these guys are right here. Actually, we forgot to change the area, but there they go, patrolling. So let's fix that real quick. These guys are actually in area 2. If we go to the map, we want the squad to be patrolling area 3. So let's go back to the code where it says area 2, make that say area 3. So this is your marker that the AI squad is going to spawn at. So once you have that, just save that, and let's test it. Let's spawn them again, go to 0, and then to 0 for the radio, and spawn infantry. So these guys are in front of us this time, but that's alright. These guys will spawn, and it's a good thing we're friendly to them. So these guys are just going to basically patrol around. Yeah, their area is not that big, so let's actually expand the marker. We'll go like this. So you could see that the size of the marker makes a big difference in what they patrol. So we'll go like this, make it bigger. Alright, we'll do that. Let's test it out. Go 0 to 0, radio, spawn infantry. Alright, so you can see how much bigger it is. Yes, the bigger the marker, the better. So next, let's do the spawn vehicles. Let's go back to the script. Alright, now we're going to spawn some vehicles. So if we go down to where it says vehicle spawn code, I have some notes here. It says use the following code and a trigger to spawn a pool of vehicles, planes, or helicopters. Change the vehicle pool number to what you want. You can use multiple instances of the same code, just the pool number must be different. If you go to this code right here, this is going to be the code that you're going to put in the trigger. Now there's two parts to this code. This part here is area 1, and that is for the marker where that pool is going to spawn. The second part is the vehicle pool. That's this. So it says vehicle pool 1. So if you scroll down, I have some notes here. It says notes. Each pool can be one vehicle or multiple vehicles. When the pool is spawned, all vehicles will spawn. You have pools. This is one pool. This is another pool. This is another pool. So in this pool, these are class names for two vehicles. This is an MRAP and this is an MBT. What you're going to do is you're going to copy this code right here. And you're going to press Control C, and we're going to go back in the game. Well, here's our spawn vehicles radio trigger. Just double click that, and what you're going to do is you're going to paste in the on activation box the code that we copied from the script. Just hit OK for the moment. Let's go to the map, and our second area, area 2, was for the vehicles. We're going to actually expand this, knowing that for the infantry, the marker for the infantry wasn't that big and they didn't go too far. Where they go is dependent on how big the marker is. So we'll make it that big. That's fine. Alright, so this is area 2. Let's go back into the spawn vehicles trigger, and you're going to change the area to area 2. If you want to add it a hint to show that the vehicles spawn, you just type in hint space quote a vehicles as spawned exclamation point end quote and then semicolon, and that's it. Just hit OK and we'll save that and let's test it out. Alright, so we go to 0, we go to radio, and then to spawn vehicles. We got our hint at the top, and here's the two vehicles that were in the vehicle number 1 pool. And you can kind of see their icons on the map a little bit. Let's say we spawn a Prowler HMG. So if you wanted to change the pool, here's how you do it. You place your asset, you right click the asset, you go down to where it says log, and then go to where it says log classes to clipboard. Click on that, and that'll add the classes to the clipboard. You delete the vehicle, and then let's go back to the script. Vehicle pool number 1, which is the one that we use. So you have an MRAP and then the slammer. So if we wanted to add that third vehicle to it, all you do is you put a comma, and then you hit space, you put a quote, and press Control V, which will paste the new class name Then you add a quote again, and that's all you have to do. That will just add that class name to the list. Alright, so let's save the script and let's go test it out. Alright, back in the editor, let's play the mission. Press 0, go to radio, and then down to vehicles, and hit enter. And we have the tank. Where's the other guy? There he is. So let's go to spectator. Alright, so now you see how that works. Let's try applying back in the script. I just added some more information and a code for the planes and helicopters. So this is what I added. Plane and helicopter spawn code. Here's some notes. Put the following code in the INIT box of a trigger to spawn planes or helicopters. The area 4 is the marker. The 200 is the height off the ground. The plane will spawn in the air. This code right here, you still have a vehicle pool. So vehicle pool 5 is right here. And you go to your code here, so vehicle pool 5, and then you have your marker, and then you have the height off the ground that the plane is going to start. He's going to start in the air 200 meters off the ground. So if you wanted to increase that, you could. If you wanted to decrease it, like say for helicopters, you could do that as well. But all you need to do here is copy this line up to here, not these two, and press Control C. And then we're going to go back in the game and add this to the trigger for the plane. So we go to the trigger that is going to be spawning the plane, edit the trigger. In the on activation box, you're going to press Control V. Again, we can add a hint, so let's add a hint for the feedback. Hint, space, quote, a plane has spawned, and then an exclamation point, end quote, and then semicolon. Alright, so looking at the code, you have area 4. So area 1 is actually the marker that we have, and we could leave that number. And once you have that, just hit OK. We'll just do a quick check. So we have area 1 is the biggest trigger. So we're going to let's expand this a little bit. So it's just a little bit bigger because planes kind of need some room to fly around. So we'll save that and let's test it out. Press 0, go to radio, click on spawn plane. There you go. We do a helicopter. So we go back to the editor and let's go to helicopters. Let's do a Blackfoot. So we'll place down a Blackfoot. You click on it, right click, go to log, go log classes to clipboard. That'll add the classes. Just delete the thing and let's go back to the script. I'm going to go down to vehicle pool 5. And in between quotes, I'm going to press Control V, and that'll add the heli attack helicopter. And we'll just save that. Let's go back to the editor and test it out. So let's go to our trigger real quick, and let's put helicopter. We'll change the hint, helicopter. Just hit OK, and that's it. So we'll save it now, and let's play the mission. Go to 0, and then to radio, and spawn helicopter. There you go. So it's going up because we have it set at 200 meters. So if you wanted the helicopter to fly lower, then obviously you'd have to change the 200 in the code to maybe 100 or something, or lower. back on the release thread. I plan to update this thread a little bit more, adjust some code and stuff, and of course I'll have the video there. The release thread here will be linked in the description of the video, and I'll have these 3 wiki pages linked on this thread here as well as in the description of the video.